The new media rights deal with NBC could be in a little bit of trouble. We'll tell you about it next. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Professor Lars. Do all the liking and subscribing if you could. I would appreciate it. So there's a story from this week that's kind of flown under the radar that could affect NASCAR fans in the future. Comcast and NBC Universal announced that they are going to spin some of their cable channels into a separate holding company. And from that holding company, they could be sold to other people. Some of those channels include MSNBC, CNBC, which is kind of odd because they're the ones that broke this story. This is where I'm getting it from, and USA Network. So what does that mean for NASCAR fans? Well, we have to kind of examine how we got here to this problem that we're going to have with the USA Network. NASCAR earlier this year signed a $7.7 billion media rights deal with Fox, Amazon Prime, TNT, and NBC Universal. So Fox and FS1 will have the first part of the season. Amazon will then take over. This is NASCAR's first venture into streaming service besides kind of a simulcast on NBC that you could get on Peacock. After that, TNT takes over. They go back to TNT. And of course, Amazon and TNT will kind of share graphics, broadcast people, all of that. And then NBC will take over for the final races of the season, including the playoffs. So essentially what NASCAR did was they took the money and run. Instead of trying to get a media rights deal that would bring them more exposure, more network television, they took the money to be on cable. Some of these networks wanted content and ratings, which NASCAR still gets pretty good ratings for a Sunday afternoon on their cable channels. Problem is, cable, it's kind of a dying media, and really all media is in trouble right now. They have a debt crisis, I guess you could say, going on, but especially cable. Streaming services, there are a few that are doing pretty well. Amazon is doing pretty well, but they took the money. They took the money and run for cable, and now it's kind of coming back to bite them. Why would this spinoff affect NASCAR? Okay, so they're going to spin it off into a holding company kind of run by NBC Universal. Different people will be in charge of it. It'll be a different company, but they'll still be able to bring some of the same programming because they are still controlled by NBC somewhat. Now, from that holding company, other companies can come in and buy those cable channels, which is the ultimate goal for NBC Universal, is to cut overhead and sell off these channels. So how would that affect NASCAR fans and NASCAR itself in exposure? Well, for the 2025 season, it's not going to affect them at all. 2025, all of this will take place in a year with the holding company, and it could take even longer to sell some of these channels. So for 2025, we're set. It'll still be on USA, and we'll be able to get it. 2026 and beyond, I think it's 2031 that the media rights deal ends. Who knows? If a company comes in and buys USA right away, then that company will have to negotiate with NBC if they want to keep NASCAR. There would have to be some type of deal involving money to keep NASCAR on USA and everybody watching and knowing where NASCAR is going to be in the future. If the new company comes in and buys USA and decides not to get NASCAR for whatever reason, price or whatever, then NBC has very few options available to them to bring NASCAR on cable. The only channel, from what I understand and the stories I've read on CNBC, the only channel that NBC Universal and Comcast are keeping, Bravo, which is a step down from USA. It's not in as many homes. It doesn't get the ratings that USA does. So there are very few options past that. They could move the races to NBC, more races on NBC. Now, that might be feasible later on down the line, 2027, 2028, 2029, because there may be some content contracts that fall off. But for 2026, 2027, we don't know. They still may have contracts in place to broadcast other things that would preempt NASCAR. Their only other option that they would have available is Peacock, which would mean an additional cost to fans of NASCAR. Now, we're already getting Amazon for 2025. That's going to be an additional cost for fans as well. I myself am going to have to pay for Amazon during those 5 races. Now that's going to be, if this does happen and the USA gets sold off out of that holding company, then that's going to be an additional cost if they do put it on Peacock for the fan as well. I've read some rumblings online, and we all know how people talk online. Sometimes things change, but I've seen some people talk about not getting Amazon and not watching those 5 races because it's going to be an additional cost. So what's going to happen if USA gets bought out of this holding company and NBC puts races on Peacock? Then they could lose viewership because some people just don't have the money for the extra cost. For right now, everything's fine. This whole thing is going to take a year to develop, and 2025 is in the books for USA to broadcast NASCAR races. What we have to realize is this is a business. Businesses do things like this from time to time. They cut overhead, and generally it's the viewer who loses out and sometimes has to pay more, unfortunately. If you like this video, give it a like. If you like what I'm doing overall, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Comment below. Tell me what you think about this video. Call me an idiot. I really don't care. And I will see you in the next video.